Hi everyone, it's Kathy. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm excited to be participating in the creatively tagged video hop and giveaway. For this hop and giveaway, each of us on the design team will be creating projects using the Slimline tag die set, and I'll also be using a couple of other products, including the rounded rectangles, the bold ABC die set, elf-sized stamp set, and the Mix and Match 2 paper pack. I'll be creating two different types of tags today. The first one is going to be a shaker tag. I started out by die cutting the smaller tags from a piece of patterned paper from the Mix and Match 2 paper pack, and then I cut a second one just from plain white cardstock. I wanted to create a window, so I used the rounded rectangles die set to cut a rectangle out of the patterned paper. I placed that on top of the white tag and just used a pencil to lightly draw around that because I wanted to stamp a sentiment that would show when the shaker bits fell to the bottom of the tag. As I had mentioned, this is a giveaway and you'll have the opportunity to win a $100 gift certificate to the Whimsy Stamps store. All you have to do to be entered is leave a comment on each stop of the hop, and the next person in the hop is in the description box below for you. Make sure you do leave a comment no later than November 30th in order to be entered to win. Getting back to my little shaker tag here, after I had die cut that rectangle out, I stamped my sentiment, and then I used some liquid glue to adhere a piece of acetate behind my window. Next, I added some foam strips to the back of the tag, and I wanted to make sure that the contacts for the foam strips were really tight around that window opening to keep my shaker bits in place. Once I had the foam strips around the window, I added more foam tape along the bottom and the top sides of the shaker tag. Next, it was time to add my shaker bits, and I used the Retro Christmas Confetti Mix by This Calls for Confetti. I think the colors in this particular shaker mix go perfect with the Mix and Match paper pack too. After adding my shaker bits, I removed the release paper from the sticky foam strips only around the window, and then I placed another piece of acetate on top of that. That makes it much easier to get both of the tags lined up and not have to worry about my shaker bits falling out. Next, I removed the release paper from the rest of the sticky strips. Then I added a little bit of liquid glue on the edges of the acetate to make sure that the top tag would stick to the bottom tag. Off camera, I had colored up one of the cute little elves from the elf size stamp set, and I cut him out using my scan and cut machine. I used a little bit of liquid glue to the back of him and then added him to the front of my tag. I'll have all of the Copic markers that I used to color up that little guy, along with all of the products that I used, listed in the description box below for you. To finish up the tag, I added some white ribbon through the top of the tag, and then to bring out just a little bit more red, I grabbed some red and white baker's twine and wrapped that around the white ribbon and just tied it in a bow. Once I was done fiddling with the baker's twine, I used my scissors to trim up that ribbon, and that finishes up the shaker tag. Moving on to the second tag, this one is going to be a little gift card holder. I used the largest tag die and cut it twice, once from patterned paper and once from white cardstock. I needed to score my patterned paper tag, so I placed that on my scoreboard and scored at 1.5 inches. Next, I needed to create the pocket for the gift card, so I grabbed a piece of the same patterned cardstock and cut it to 3 3/8 by 2 5/8. Then I placed that on my scoreboard and scored at 1/2 inch on 3 of the sides. I folded on those score lines and then I cut out the bottom corners of my little pocket, and then I like to cut a little angle off of the side edges. It just seems to have that little pocket lie a little bit more flat. I used my bone folder to make sure that all of my score lines were nice and burnished. Next, I grabbed the striped tag and added adhesive only above the score line and adhered that to the white tag. For the gift card pocket, I added some adhesive on the outer flaps and folded up the bottom flap. Then I added adhesive on the bottom flap and then adhered my pocket on the inside of my little tag card. I guess it's a tag card since I adhered both of them together. Anyway, moving right along, off camera, I colored up 3 more of the cute little elves from the elf size stamp set and used my scan and cut machine to cut them out. I had also die cut the words ho 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 from the bold ABCs die set And I put foam tape on the back of all of those and just started to adhere them to the front of my tag. One suggestion I have is when placing your little images on the front of the tag is don't press them down too hard at first, just to make sure that everything is lined up and straight. That way, if you need to wiggle them and move them a little bit, you can do that. Once I had everything adhered to the front of the tag, I inked up the sentiment, "Good things come in small packages," and stamped that on my little gift card pocket on the inside of the tag. To finish up the tag, I had die cut the tag reinforcer from white cardstock and threaded some red ribbon through that. Once I was done fiddling with the ribbon, I used my scissors to trim the tails of the ribbon, and that's it. That finishes up my second tag. Thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget, the next stop in the hop is linked in the description box below for you. And don't forget to leave a comment by November 30th to be entered to win a $100 gift card to the Whimsy Stamps shop. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you've not yet subscribed, I'd love it if you would. And don't forget to ring the bell so you're notified every time a new video is posted. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.